Hey, what's up guys? James from Junkyard Fox. Thank you so much for joining us on an exciting new video. I hope you guys had fun with that intro. Some eagle-eyed viewers last week, they noticed when we were cooking tortillas at my house, some of you viewers noticed my Boba Fett helmet and you guys wanted to see it. So I thought, I'm going to show it to you guys and have some fun with the intro of this video, add some levity. You know, in this channel, we're really big on showing skills and getting down and dirty. But at the same time, we like to have fun, get a little cinematic, and get geeky. So I hope you guys like the helmet. This was a lot of fun to make. All right then, but let's get serious. Let me put this away, and let's get down to today's subject. And we're going to be talking about bug out bags and my setup for my bug out bag. So for those of you who don't know, a bug out bag is your emergency pack you're going to grab when it's time to go. If there's a natural disaster, an earthquake, flooding, wildfires, or terrorist attack, whatever the case may be, something happens, civil unrest, there's riots in your town, and you got to just get out. You got to, your home is no longer safe. You got to get that bag and you got to get out. And it keeps you, you know, it's mainly designed, focused around a 72-hour scenario. And everybody's bag is different. Depends on where you live, the season, your health. If there's 4 members in your household, 4 family members, each one should have a pack, you know, designated to their strengths and weaknesses. So today, once again, we're going to be talking about bug out bags. So thank you for joining me. Let's get started. Now, before we proceed, guys, let me just go ahead and get a little small rant out of the way. I have been asked to make a bug out bag video for years now, and I have been avoiding it. Bug out bags are all the rage. They're very popular, probably the second most popular subject matter when it comes to the YouTube outdoors survival prepper community, probably second to like EDC videos. However, I can't stand those videos. I think they're just you know, I can't help but just roll my eyes, and half the time I'm watching these bug out bag videos, half the time I'm seeing people who think they're gonna go play Call of Duty, and you know, we're gonna go into some civil war, and you know, they got tons of ammunition and 3 guns and 4 knives and all kinds of stuff, a trauma kit. And I just don't find that very likely. I'm not saying that self-defense isn't important. I'm not saying that, you know, ammunition or something like that. I'm not saying that. In fact, you'll see this stuff in here. However, you got to tone it back down, because the improbable is improbable. But the probable things they're forgetting, like bug spray. As you can see right now, we're being bombarded by flies. Things like sunblock. You know, if you're going to be bugging out and you're going to be walking miles upon miles to get to a safe spot, you're going to be just sweating buckets and all this stuff. And they're forgetting the basics, you know, in favor of some macho fantasy. So, yeah, there's those. And then on the other hand, we have other videos of somebody who thought of just about every scenario, zombie apocalypse, aliens, you name it. And because of that, they have bags that are 50 pounds with just a ton of moving parts, a ton of different compartments. And guys, you know, if you are in a survival situation like a bug out bag scenario, you know, a bugging out scenario, you're going to be dehydrated, you're possibly injured, hungry, and stressed, and all these things, all these moving parts, these little rinky-dink, you know, snare sets and little fishing things, they're not going to work, guys, especially if you've never tried using them and been successful with it, much less now. Okay, so let's discuss my bag. I have this designed for my environment, which is the American Southwest desert, and that's going to be the climate, and the lack of water is really what I'm going to focus on. So hopefully this helps you out, anyone who's living in Arizona, Nevada, New Mexico, so on. Also, it's going to have a little bit of urban as well, because I live in the city. So if this was to happen while I'm at home or whatever, I'd have to make my way out of the city, and I'm heading to an undisclosed location in the desert. I know the desert, I know the foods, I know how to make soap and containers out here. My only problem is a water source. Once I get the water source, a small stream, a spring, I'm set, I'm good. And the good thing about the desert is most people are going to avoid it. So it's not like the woods where everyone's going to crowd it, thinking that they're going to live off like Rambo. The desert is going to be avoided, and that's what I want, because I want to get away from people. And just for the sake of simplicity, guys, I know that I carry EDC, my everyday carry items, and I have a haversack already on me, so I'm already going to have basic set of survival tools. But just for simplicity, I'm just going to have this just as a self-contained thing. So pretend I don't have my belt knife and all that stuff. So this bag is by the Hidden Woodsman. You guys know the Hidden Woodsman. He makes pouches and packs and haversacks and all that stuff. Made in America, great stuff. This was actually a gift from Malcolm about 4 Christmases ago. He made this for me. So, to the best of my knowledge, it's a prototype pack. He didn't make many more of these, but he has similar ones. So if you're interested, check out his website, thehiddenwoodsman.com. And it's military grade technology. I mean, the quality is really good. Hand sewn. I mean, really good stuff. 1000D Cordura, so it's resistant against water, the elements, thorns, and all that stuff. I like that it's, you know, there's several compartments without getting ridiculous with, you know, 12 different little compartments that just are gonna just get complicated. So there's one large one, 2 medium-sized pouches, and then a small one right here. And we'll discuss those. And then, of course, the front, I have padded shoulder straps, and I have this mesh up here to help with sweat. So obviously, the first things first you're going to notice is I have some leather gloves up here, so they're going to be disposable to me right away. So while I'm out in the wilderness, I'm going to want to protect my hands. Say I'm gathering tinder, dead grass, or sticks, you know, to make a fire. You got to watch out because we have scorpions, fire ants, tarantulas. Everything out here has thorns, yucca, cactus, ocotillo, mesquite. Everything's out to stab you out here. You don't really see gloves a lot, you know, because I don't really like the confinement feeling. But in this situation, I'm not taking chances. I'm going to protect my hands because if I'm on a bug out situation and I get stung by a scorpion, my situation just went from bad to worse. So I'm going to protect my hands, and it's also, of course, a form of cover. So in case it's a cold night, you know, during winter or whatever, I got gloves. So there we go. So let's move on down here. Now there's an optional spot at the bottom of the bag where you can add a blanket, and that's where I have my bedroll. I have a wool blanket. Now a wool blanket is extremely warm, and this is where I'm going to address my weakness, guys. I get cold all the time. I camped in Arizona last year in the middle of June, and I was shivering all night, all 3 nights that I stayed there. That's just me. Also keep in mind that the desert gets pretty cold at night, and if you are in a bug out situation, there's a chance that you might not want to make a fire. A fire draws attention. You may not want that. People are going to be desperate. People aren't going to be prepared, and they're going to want what you got, you know? So you might have to just, you know, we think we're going to have a cozy fire out there, you know, enjoying ourselves. This isn't a camping trip. This is a survival situation. You could get robbed. So, you know, just to put some perspective there, if I don't have a fire, I'm going to want to hunker down under some bushes, and I'm going to want to be warm in my wool blanket. Open this up. I got this blanket for like $4 at a thrift store, by the way. So I'm not going to open it up all the way, but here we go. I have undergarments right here. So the top and the bottom. So I have PJs. So you don't want to be sleeping in the clothes that you've been sweating on all day and it's all filthy and ragged. So I can change to something that I'm going to be sleeping in comfortably while my clothes, you know, I can dip them in a stream, you know, or give them a smoke bath by the fire. But I'm going to have a change of clothes. Or if it's cold, I have extra layers here. I also have spare wool socks. Now your socks are going to get gross. You're going to be sweating. You might be hiking and walking for miles at a time, you know, all day. So your feet are going to become a soup of sweat and bacteria. So you want to be switching out your socks when you can. And wool's, of course, far warmer, better quality than the, you know, rinky-dink Walmart socks. So I have this. And then just for redundancy, a little small Mylar blanket. So yeah, I mean, if I really wanted to cheap out and you know, because it's summertime, I might want to just, you know, remove all this stuff and save some weight. It's possible, but I know that I'd get cold. And once again, a lot of people don't realize that you might not want to make a fire. So as long as you're cozy in a cold, you know, windstorm and all that, that's all that matters. So yeah, here's my shelter, basically, my first form of cover. And also, wool's gonna last a lot longer than, you know, anything more lightweight, because once again, there's thorns and sharp rocks and all kinds of stuff. This stuff is warm and tough. Okay, now that I got that out of the way, let's talk about the bag and the compartments. Now, you want to really be OCD about where you keep your stuff because, you know, during hunger, during stress, you're going to forget, you know, oh, where's this stuff? Where did I put it? You know, that kind of stuff. You know, your mind power is not going to be where you think it's going to be. So you want to just keep things where they're at, so you're able, if you have to reach in the darkness in your pack, you're able to get what you're looking for. So for me, this side right here I know is my water containment side. Anything that involves collecting water and purifying stays here at all times. Here I like to keep my personal stuff. Personal stuff can be anything from food to hygiene to first aid. Right there, this is what I call the glove compartment, which is stuff that I'm going to be using every time I put the bag down. The most used common items, so that way I don't have to open up the pack. And then the large segment is, of course, my camp setup. So once I already found a place where I'm feeling comfortable, I'm going to hunker down for the night, or, you know, I've got to my secret destination. This is where I open it up to set up my shelter. My tools are in here so I could start, you know, carving or chopping up food or cooking, whatever the case may be. Everything's in here. But let's go ahead and start with this segment. And this is where a lot of people forget the basics. Oh, by the way, this dog I found like years ago. He was all beat up, and I just decided to take him with me. So doesn't really serve anything. I just thought he was a cute little stray I adopted, basically. But anyway, so the basics people forget. Sunblock, especially me. But I mean, honestly, anybody who's going to be out there in the summertime, even in the wintertime, if you're getting enough sunlight, the last thing you want to do is, you know, be red as a tomato and peeling when you're already in a bad situation. You're going to be miserable. So sunscreen is important. Bug spray. Bugs, maybe this isn't necessary during winter, so I can remove this and put hand warmers in there instead or something. But bugs are a nuisance. I mean, I don't know if you can hear them, but we're like bombarded by flies right now. If you can't buy a water source, you know, so you have a form of hydration and, you know, so you can cook, who else is going to be by a water source during summer? Mosquitoes. Mosquitoes carry diseases. So, you know, it could be just, you know, something that's annoying, but at the same time, it can be life-threatening. Ticks carry Lyme disease. Flies are landing on your face that earlier they were, you know, feeding on a carcass of some dead animal somewhere. So this is pretty important. I see people forget these two things all the time, and these are the most probable things you're going to need. Foot powder. Once again, you're going to be walking. If you're like me, you're carrying boots. You're using boots. It's a lot of sweat. If you're making a trek for 10 miles, 15 miles, you know, that's a lot of bacteria that's building up. You're going to be uncomfortable. You might start chafing in places like, you know, your inner thighs and stuff like that, you know, because you're carrying a pack and all that. So this is something people forget that can make a big difference in comfort and hygiene as well. And then from there, of course, a lighter. In a bug out bag situation, now's not the time to, you know, be Cody Lundeen. You know, I'm going to be right away. If I can get a fire started, I'm going to get it started quickly. So I have a big lighter. Here is my rip spool from Exotac. So what this has is I have some duct tape on here for repairs if I got to repair my tarp, something like that, my boots. And then I have some line here, and there is a needle in here. So if I need to repair my coat, my shirt, you know, because once again, there's thorns everywhere. So if I need to do some repairs, that's going to help me out right there. So I get to camp. Maybe this one doesn't belong up here in the front. It could be inside the bag. But if I get to camp, I could do some repairs. And then I have my OutXE power bank. So this power bank is pretty strong. It can charge two things at once. So I can charge my phone and my flashlight or my lantern. Also, this is solar powered, so I'm going to take advantage of that big ball up there that's trying to cook everything, and I'm going to use it to my advantage to, you know, use the solar power. Now this thing charges at a snail's pace, but it's better than nothing. And then other than that, it's pretty sturdy. It's pretty strong. It's also a little flashlight for emergencies. Not strong flashlight, but it's something. The cables for my phone and for my flashlights and all that. One of these connectors for like an output. Once again, if I'm making my way from urban to the desert or vice versa, from the desert to back home, you know, if I can stop somewhere at a gas station or something and just charge up my gear, I'll do that. this Dragonfire Tinderbox balm. So it's basically like chapstick. Once again, you're going to be, drying out here, dehydrated, so you don't want to look like a crackhead. I'm going to have this, plus of course there's uses to this stuff as well, like a flame extender. A ferro rod, 6" by 1/2" ferro rod, so if that lighter isn't working, it's too cold, like say it happens during winter or whatever, I got a ferro rod, get that fire going. Next is tweezers, because there's thorns, like I said, everywhere. So even just gathering food out here, the fruits have thorns. So this is going to just make things more comfortable. You don't want something that's just going to be hurting your foot. Say if you stepped on a thorn and it's in there, or on your hands, and now you're just uncomfortable, and it could lead to, infections and stuff. So tweezers. And lastly, a notepad and pen. And this is a Write in the Rain all-weather notepad. Notepad, I'm a creative person, so I know for a fact I'm going to be trying to stay busy by writing, by sketching, writing down my thoughts on the situation. So you could be, like keeping a journal, sketching, stuff like that. And, I think a lot of people don't want to admit, but if it is a really bad situation, there's a chance you might not make it. And if you are alone, I wouldn't suggest anybody bug out alone. I hope you have like a partner or a brother or somebody, but if you are alone or whatever, you might have to write your final thoughts before something happens. And it's going to be easier whenever you are found, if you say who you are and you can at least get it out of your chest, tell your wife you loved her, your kids, that kind of stuff. Got pretty dark there for a little bit, huh? But something to think about. So also, of course, leaving messages for people. Hey, I went over here, or, I need help. So notepad and pen. And so that's what I'm carrying up here. Once again, things I'm going to be using all the time. I could probably move this to inside the bag, as I wouldn't really be using this as often as all these other parts. So now let's move on to my water compartment right here on the side. Once again, I'm keeping everything here that involves water or water purification. So first things first, of course, you need a water bottle. And this is my Nalgene water bottle I bought exclusively for here. Now before, I used to have the bottles that I would use often, but you really don't want to do that. You don't want to be getting things from your bug out bag, then you get lazy or forget, and before you know it, this is elsewhere. And when the situation happens and you look for it, oh man, I forgot, I put it elsewhere, So always, you want to keep the things you use in a bug out bag separate from the things you use every day. So my regular canteen is right here. Now, most likely, realistically, I'm going to have this one as well. But once again, you want to keep it kind of self-contained. So I have a Nalgene bottle here, and I like that it has the unit measurements right here, because my main form of disinfection from water is bleach. I learned this from my buddy Shane while camping with him in Arizona. I read about it in a Cody Lundeen book, but I never practiced it until I tried it with him, and it makes such a difference when, one, you can't make a fire because of danger, or two, it's just too hot. We've all been camping. You don't want to start a fire at 2 p.m. during the summertime because you're just going to cook. And then you boil the water, and now you got to wait an hour for it to cool off, so you're not sipping tea, on a hot July afternoon. So this is going to make a difference. You put 1 drop per 16 ounces, and you wait 30 minutes, and then you can drink this bad boy. Unless it looks a little bit still dirty, you might want to put another drop. But other than that, this is going to help me so I don't have to make a fire all the time, or I don't have to wait for it to cool off. So my main form of cleaning water. Now, in case I'm extremely desperate, I'm going to have the Sawyer Mini Lifestraw that I could just drink directly from a stream or a puddle. And then here's the straw. Now, I don't trust these things. I don't trust them personally. They're about 99% effective, but I do know one person that ended up still getting Giardia using these. So I'm not going to trust it. But hey, in a survival situation, if the situation's going to be over in a week, I could just go back to the hospital when society reopens. So I'm still going to have an instant way of getting water while the bleach is doing its job over here. And then also, you're going to be losing electrolytes. It's not just about water. You're losing sodium through sweat and all this stuff. So I have these Noon Sport. This is what it's called. I bought it at Target. Well, I got this one as well. So these are basically like Alka-Seltzer. Like you throw this in your water, it fizzes, and it provides you with electrolytes. So that's going to help me out. We'll talk about this in a little bit. Then, of course, bandana for filtering. Of course, I'm going to want a steel pot for cooking, for boiling water, that kind of stuff. So even though I'm going to avoid making fire, at least during daytime, but I'm going to have it if I need it. And then lastly, a little bit of luxury, coffee and sugar. Start the mornings, give myself a little bit of a morale boost. And also a couple of these chicken bouillons. I only have 2 of them in here. I think that should be enough for a 3-day scenario. But yeah, so I caught myself a little rat. I gathered a couple of cactus pads, a couple of yucca fruits, and I'm gonna make myself a little soup. I got some bouillon, and of course bouillon has sodium as well, so that's gonna help me out. Moving on to my personal pouch, or my possibles pouch. I'm gonna have some food. Now, I don't have a ton of food. See, the problem with the desert is that you need water more than anything. I mean, that's anywhere, right? That's universal. But it really, really matters in the desert. If you don't have a drop of water, you could be sitting in front of a whole Chinese buffet and you will not want to eat it, because it takes moisture in your body to process food, to digest it, particularly protein. So I'm gonna have enough food for morale and energy, for sodium, but I don't want to do it too much. If I put several bags in here of different types of food, it's only going to tempt me to want to eat it when I'm bored, or when I'm scared. I'm going to seek comfort. So for now, I just want a little bit of stuff. And what I like about these snacks is that they don't have to be cooked, so I can eat them on the go. So basic things, I have some cashews. So these are sea salt cashews. So here's a perfect chance for a 13-year-old watching to make some funny comment down below. But I like the salt because I need the sodium. So this is going to be a snack that's going to provide me energy, but at the same time, I need that sodium. Peanut butter. We all know peanut butter is just very nutritious, and also it makes great bait. If I'm going to try to trap something like a small squirrel or a pack rat, this is irresistible to them. And then these little honey stinger waffles, so it's just basically like a cookie type of thing. So something for a little sugar pick-me-up. And that's almost about it when it comes to food. If I do need more food, if it's going to last longer, I know the environment once again, so I know what are edibles, I know where to hunt, Moving on from here, I have another hidden Woodsman pouch, and this was another gift from Malcolm, and I really love the desert motif here. You can see prickly pear cactus, saguaro cactus, ocotillo, yucca. Anyway, that's besides the point. This is my hygiene kit. Now, you're going to be already uncomfortable. You're going to be dirty in this situation. The dirtier you get, the more miserable you're going to feel. And at the same time, you're raising bacteria. So the chances of getting sick is going to get higher if you stay filthy. So, 1, you're going to feel better, and 2, you're going to be cleaner, which is going to prolong your chances of survival. So I have a bandana, and I'm keeping in this one just for, wiping my face. If I'm going to bathe or something, I'm going to use this. I have a signal mirror. I could use this for signaling, but at the same time, I'm going to look at my face, do I have buggers or anything like that? And I'll kind of just be brief with this. These are boring everyday stuff. So chapstick, toothbrush, wet ones, which is, they're antibacterial, so everybody's got to go at some point. You guys have it lucky wherever you guys are that have Mullen and all kinds of stuff, because over here, once again, everything's spiky, so this is going to be worth its weight in gold. And then, of course, for first aid, if I got to wipe a cut or something. Toothpaste. I have Ladies' Secret deodorant, and the reason why I have this is because I found it for $1 at the dollar store. I don't need to smell perfect. You're probably not, but at the same time, at least if I could get a little bit of that dryness feeling in my armpits, that's all I really need. And then soap. So I have a bar of soap in here, and I always actually carry this. You see in my videos where I gutted a rat or a catfish or whatever the case may be, and my hands are dirty. And then in the next scene, I'm like, okay, guys, my hands are clean. I washed them. I didn't record it, but I washed them. It's because I always have a bar of soap. So bacteria you want to keep down now more than ever. Now it's all the rage to have soap and be washing your hands, right? And last thing is nail clippers. So nail clippers are, of course, you get a lot of bacteria in your fingernails. You can have all kinds of things there, and then you're touching your mouth. So you want to keep your fingernails down. Also, this helps with, once again, with like taking out stingers and all kinds of stuff like that. So yeah, my hygiene kit right here. Okay, I just put everything back. So, you can tailor your hygiene kit for what's usable for you, whatever you may need. If you have a fixation with keeping your mouth clean, you might want to take some Listerine. If you're a lady, of course, you're going to need your lady things in there. You don't know how long the situation's going to last. Okay, moving on from here is my first aid kit. Now, I don't have a trauma kit. I don't have, an Israeli bandage and stuff like that. One, because I don't know how to use them. So I'm not going to be carrying extra weight with things I don't know how to use, and I might make an injury worse. And two, I'm just really focused once again on the most likely scenarios. So once again, out everything to stab me, I have Band-Aids, of course. And it's a guarantee that I'm going to bleed out here. That's a guarantee, because everything's, you prick yourself when you're walking past a bush and stuff. So I have Gauze. I have super glue. I have this cortisone 10, which is basically like a salve to smooth like insect bites, like relieve the itches and all that stuff. Okay, some gauze pads, some eye drops. I think a lot of people forget that, because things can go into your eye, especially out here in the desert. There's a lot of winds. We have 30-mile-an-hour winds. Once again, with little thorns like glochids from a cactus, they're flying up there. They're little shards of glass from douchebags that are shooting bottles out here. So you could get something in your eye. So you got to be careful. So I have that. Also, one thing that I'm slacking in here that I was just using right now is sunglasses. You want sunglasses for protection from the sunlight and to protect your eyes from sand and all that. But because I haven't bought a second pair for my bug out bag, I used them while driving over here, and look, I forgot them in the truck. So it goes, case in point, you always want to keep the stuff that you want to keep for your bug out bags strictly for your bug out bags. So, I took a hit there. And lastly, you want things that are really going to make you feel better. You're going to be eating a lot of things that you're not used to. You're going to be stressed. That's going to impact your digestive system. So I have some Pepto-Bismol. If you decided to take a chance on cooking a rabbit or something like that, or whatever energy bars you're eating, just stomach didn't like them, this is going to make you feel better. I have Benadryl, and these are really good in case you get stung by a bee or something. You don't want to risk anaphylactic shock. So I do have those chewable children's Benadryl that'll help you out. And then I have anti-diarrheal pills as well. I know, kind of funny, right? But that's the truth, guys. I mean, you really got to think about it. You're eating things you're not used to. You're stressed. It may not be you. Maybe you're with a child and maybe they have a sensitive stomach. Whatever the case may be, the last thing you want to do is have diarrhea in a bug out situation, because you're losing a lot of water. And that's just dehydrating you a lot faster, especially once again out here where water is rare. That's a death sentence right there. So whatever can help you stop that, you want to take that. And then last couple things in here is some Q-tips and some ibuprofen. So as you can see, this isn't the end-all be-all of first aid kits, and I'm not the most well-trained guy when it comes to, taking courses and stuff like that. That's definitely a weakness. I recognize that. So I'm hoping to take some classes soon. But at least right here, I have the basics. I scratched myself. I got bitten by an ant. I'm a little bit sunburnt. Stuff like that, and especially for your stomach. You guys, I see a lot of these things that have a lot of videos, and they have, these Israeli bandages and stuff like this to stop a gunshot wound. But more likely than not, you're just gonna get the runs from just eating weird things or just the stress of it all. So simple things like this: stop diarrhea. That could kill you. So I'm keeping it simple. I'm keeping it lightweight. Close this up. So yeah, these are once again my personals: first aid kit, hygiene kit, snacks. Let's open up this flap. And as I said earlier, guys, my focus for my bug out bag is 1, water procurement and water purification, and 2 is cover. So you saw my blanket, you saw my change of clothes. Now we're going to talk about, you know, a tarp and all that stuff. So this is me setting up camp. I want cover from the sun. As I said, I want cover from the sun. So I got a little goofy little Gilligan's Island hat here. Not the most fashionista of hats, but it's going to keep the sun off my head when I'm traveling. It's going to help me out. Now, of course, like I said, I already have certain things, right? But you want to keep this self-contained just in case you didn't have this, or you ended up, you know, going on this journey, on this adventure with somebody. You take your girlfriend along and she's missing some items. Boom. This is going to help that person out. Or you could probably maybe trade this to somebody. I don't know. But yeah, a little floppy hat. Got this for like $2 at a thrift store. From here, where do I start? Talk about the knife. And the knife that I'm going to go with is the Mylar. Now, we already tested this knife before. We have a video on it where we cooked a rat, made a one-stick fire, broke down some pecans to eat. So I like that it has a 90-degree spine for striking the ferro rod. The 14C28N steel is stainless, so I don't got to worry about it when it comes to upkeeping, you know, maintenance. Oh, I used it making dinner, I fell asleep, I wake up, it's rusted. I don't got to worry about that. Or the plastic handle as opposed to wood. It has a pommel here for crushing things. If I have to crush, once again, like say I run into pecans or shellfish, boom, can break some stuff down. Simple yet effective. And the reason why I chose this one over the Consbol, because I was very close to choosing the Consbol, is the fact that this one's going to be stronger in terms, if I did have to use it, you know, in a defensive situation, I'm going to choose this one over the Consbol. So that's why I chose the Garberg. So yeah, the Mylar is going to be the bug out bag knife that I'm going to choose. And of course, I would probably just take it off and put it on my belt, so it's going to start saving some weight in here. Next is I have a flashlight. This is a WowTac A6 flashlight, so something around camp to look around, and it's USB rechargeable. Next is a sharpener, you know, to upkeep my blade. This is some Victorinox one. It's all right. It's not the best, but it's something. It's there. And then one thing I see people forget a lot, and I find that, you know, I think it's very underrated, is like a little bit of a trowel or a spade for digging. Whether you're going to be digging a Dakota fire pit, you know, to make a fire discreetly, or, you know, everybody's got to go sometime. The best thing you can do if you're going to go drop a deuce is dig a hole like a cat, take care of your business, and bury it, because you don't want, you're hanging around camp, you go do your business, a fly lands on the, you know, your flies are going to be landing on that, then later on they could land on your food. Once again, that opens up the door to, you know, sickness. Other than that, also, if you guys know my environment, if you guys seen videos, I know how to make soap from the root of a yucca plant, so this is going to save me time. Now, do I need this necessarily? No, I could use my hand, but I'm going to be using a lot more calories. You know, I'm going to be sweating a lot more. So this is going to be very useful. Another light source. This is a Yuko light, a very mini one. What I like about this one is, one, it's small, and two, this is USB rechargeable, so I can charge it that way, but at the same time, I can use AAA batteries. So if my power bank died out, you know, and I'm going to be weeks without power, I could use that at least. And yeah, so I dig this. I really like Yuko. They're probably one of my favorite brands ever. And of course, I can hang this on my tarp, and then whenever I need to go somewhere, I can remove it. It's magnetic, then reattach it. So really dig this little lantern. A light source. From here, I'm gonna have a big dumb tarp. I'm not sure the specifications. I'll put down below how big it is. The reason why I'm choosing this as opposed to some fancy bushcraft outfitters type tarp, guys, is because those tarps won't last out here. I have a Snug Pack all weather shelter tarp that I love when I'm camping in the woodlands, but out here I used it once and it ripped. It's not destroyed, but you could see like a good 5-6 rips. There's sharp rocks, there's thorns, like I said. Just the wind itself carries glass and all kinds of stuff. So I'm gonna want something that's gonna be really tough. It has grommets, or if anything, I could use as a ground sheet. There might be times you don't have time to set up a tarp. So if I could just use this as a ground sheet, and then my wool blanket, and then wrap myself like a taco, I'll be fine. I've done that before. So that's why I'm using this. Now, it is bulky. I wish I could find something lighter weight, but I need it to be durable. Because once again, this is designed from 1 to 3 days, but if it goes longer, if it goes for a week or two, you want something like this in a wool blanket that's just quality and really tough. One last food source. Once again, guys, without water, I'm not going to be able to eat. So this is just rice sides broccoli. These are really good. It doesn't need water. So in case I do, I mean, I'm hoping so because I scout these areas, so I know where there's a couple of water sources. So I can make myself a little bit of food. So yeah. And then I also have a small stove here. You've seen it before, like you saw it on the Hidden Woodsman haversack video I did recently. Just a small stove my buddy Raymond sent to me. So if I am going to be making a fire, the small stoves is going to keep the fire small and concentrated. You don't want something that's going to draw attention to you if you want to be subtle. So this is going to be boiling my water really quickly or keeping me warm really quickly without seeing this big Burning Man festival fire around. And then from here I have one last bag here, one last containment over here. Tape for repairs. I have this little radio / flashlight, and one, of course, if the battery on your phone died and you need this to find out information on the situation, or you just gotta jam out. So whether you're getting information on the weather, or hey, it's safe to come back to the city, whatever. Or, hey, if you're just hanging out and you want to listen to music, I'm sure that can really going to raise morale, So, some AAA batteries for my Yuko lantern in case I do need them. 22 ammunition. The less YouTube sees this, the better. But, I'm going to try to take that because more likely than me needing it to defend myself is I'm going to be trying to hunt game. Or, if I do need to use it, I'm able to take a lot of ammo. Now, for me, in my opinion, a 12 gauge shotgun is something I would prefer for home defense and from intruders, but it's heavier, a lot bulkier ammunition, so I'm just gonna go with the rifle. Next, I have some spices. So once again, dealing with morale, I want to enjoy my food if I'm able to eat. So if I caught myself a snake or something, this has Cajun, it has cayenne, salt and pepper, just a little bit of something, you guys know we love spices here. We love to eat like kings on this channel, so I always advocate spices. And then last but not least here is my magnification lens. I have it in here, nice and padded. So you saw I have a lighter and a ferro rod. I'm not messing around. I'm not trying to become some nature guy. I'm just trying to get a fire going for survival if needed. But if I am here longer, if this takes months, I have a source that's going to last me forever as long as I take care of it because of the sunlight. So I can easily get a fire started using a magnification lens, or it could help me with first aid. And at the same time, I have a tin where I can make char cloth as well. About 30 feet of paracord here to help me set up my tarp for my shelter. And that's about it, really. I think that's more than enough for a bug out situation. If I do need to make more rope, I could just make it from yucca. It is time consuming, but you're gonna have all the time in the world. So this should be enough. I did have a lot more, but it was just heavier, so I think this is fine. And then here, another Hidden Woodsman bag. Forgot what this is called. But what I have in here, in this bag, rat traps. You guys have seen us using these rat traps hundreds of times. They always work. They're far more useful than a figure 4 deadfall, all kinds of primitive traps. It's good to know those things, of course, but these are just far more effective. In fact, 9 times out of 10 that I've set these out, I've come home with food. So once again, if we are we're going to be here a little longer than expected. This is going to be a way where I can procure small game. Not only that, but now I don't have a lot of experience with this, so don't quote me on how this works, but I saw some video once where somebody actually made like a perimeter alarm around his fence. Around his camp. So what he did was, in this video that I saw, somebody had like paracord going around like a certain couple of trees and bushes around where he was sleeping, and then he set this trap and had it hanging. So if somebody stepped over the string, it snaps this. And when it snaps, of course, it's going to wake you up. So Once again, I've never practiced that myself. That's homework to do when I get home tonight, but that could help. Hey, a perimeter alarm for your camp, or once again, even if you don't want to, if you don't want to eat rats or something like that, mice, that's perfectly fine, but they may be a problem. They may pose a threat to your pack. They might want to get into your foods, start chewing up your pack, so you might want to get rid of that problem. And last but not least, this is just an idea here. I may end up removing this entirely, but what I have this is, I was thinking about a survival kit within a survival kit. So, in The Dark Knight, when the Joker destroys Batman's car, the tumbler, and then it's all wrecked, and all of a sudden Batman just rockets out in his Batpod, the motorcycle, and it's a really awesome scene, by the way. So this is the same thing. If I have to leave this down for whatever reason, if I'm being chased by people, I'm going to take this. If I have to leave this and give it to them, I'm going to take this. This is just bare bones survival right here. Or, maybe that's a little dramatic. But say I set up camp, and now I'm going to scout the area for, signs of life, signs of water. This is going to be heavy to carry. This pack entirely is 22 pounds. So I'm not going to want to carry that all the time. So I could set this down and just carry this with me for whatever the situation may need. So who knows? I might just end up removing this and just replacing it with a second bottle of water. But yeah, so we've already reviewed this Hidden Woodsman survival pouch. We have a really cool review where we played an urban survival scenario. But in here, I have a paracord here. It's going to be like to sling over my shoulder. And here, once again, it's all redundancies. In case I did have to put this pack down, I have a cutting tool right here. This is, of course, my Leatherman wingman, I believe. So yeah, you're going to want a multi-tool in a bug-out bag. It's going to have pliers, can opener, bottle opener, fence cutters, a secondary blade. So this is my secondary cutting tool. And yeah, very useful. Another little thing of bleach in case I lost my first one. And since you're just using drops, these things can last you a month. They could last you 2-3 months, so that's really good. A secondary fire source, or my backup fire source, which is a lighter, a pen, this Sawyer mini little bottle, so I can, if I need to transport water quickly. This is pretty tough plastic, so it's a container, a Cliff Bar for energy, and one of those little electrolyte drink mixes. I got some bank line here for shelter. This is really only about 20 feet of bank line, so it's not a lot, but I like that bank line's a lot thinner, so it's good for a backup. Then here I have a headlamp. This is a Foxelli headlamp. This one has a red light for the darkness. It's rechargeable USB. USB rechargeable, I'm sorry. And then here is a Pine Fire Shop. This is once again a secondary fire source. These are the Yuko Matches. We've reviewed these before. Of course, you can dunk these in water, snow, pull them out. They'll keep burning. I just shortened them so they can fit in here. So I have about 4 of them for emergencies. And then Pine Fire, these little things that would burn and burn. I forgot what they were called. Pine Fire is no longer around, unfortunately, but I really love these things. So in case it's everything's wet or snowy, or I'm really wounded and I don't really have time to make a really good fire lay, this is going to help me out. Hand warmers, help keep your feet warm, your hands warm on the during the cold months. An emergency thermal blanket. These are pretty much useless. They're rinky-dink, but it's better than nothing. Once again, if I am only relying on this emergency pack. I'm gonna hide this stuff, but there's your boy right there. I have an identification card. Either you come back to society and you got to prove who you are, or once again, unfortunately, they found your body. At least they have a way. It's gonna save them a lot of time to identify you, notify your loved ones. One of these water key things. You've seen us using this to get water from the sides of buildings if needed. The Yuko Strike. That actually belongs in my little container with the Yuko Matches. I don't know why it's out. And then a couple more Pine Fires, little cheats to get a fire going. And that's about it. So even though this pack is really small, probably about 2 pounds, 3 pounds the most. You saw that I have a cutting tool, ways of making fire, cordage, container, a light source. So it has the basics needed in here. Tell me what you guys think. I don't really see this a lot in videos, but this is my Scout bug out bag as opposed to my large one that's heavier that I don't want to carry around a lot. And well, that's about it, guys. Once again, the total is about 22 pounds. My focus is on cover from the sunlight, the elements, so I have a very strong tarp, cordage, I have a very warm, thick blanket and changes of clothes and gloves. So in case it is cold, you know, a lot of people don't realize, but it's very windy out in the desert, and at nights it gets really cold. I might be able to, if I wanted to, save weight and remove the wool blanket and get something lighter for the summer months, but that's definitely going to be useful during winter. So I might want to save on that, but overall, I'm going to keep it. I'm going to keep it for now. Next thing is, of course, things that people forget: sunscreen, bug juice, foot powder, little things like that are going to make you feel a little bit more comfortable. And then, of course, once again, water purification. I have an immediate source of drinking water, so the Lifestraw, the Sawyer Mini, I'm sorry. I have the bleach, which takes 30 minutes, but doesn't require, you know, it doesn't require heating it up and drawing attention and all the calories. And then, of course, I have the traditional making a fire. So if I do feel safe and you know, I want to make some food or drink some, you know, coffee, I'll be good there. And then, of course, all these other little things, the hygiene kit, the little secondary bug out bag, stuff like that. So tell me what you guys think. Once again, this is directed exclusively for the desert, but I hopefully somebody, if you're somewhere else, you get some ideas here. Other than that, guys, I know you guys are going to question, you know, you're missing a compass. Truth is, I don't know how to use a compass. I had one, I took the Pathfinder classes, and I struggled really bad in learning it. And I figured, oh, well, you know, when I fly back to Texas, I could take a class in Fort Bliss. That's nearby a town. No dice. It's been years, and I still can't find a class that can help me with orienteering and all that stuff. I ended up selling my compass. So that's, once again, a weakness on my part. But in my defense also, look at all this vast open ground. I can see landmarks. And it's a lot easier for me to get from point A to point B as long as I could see something that's gonna, you know, that building, that tree, that kind of stuff. So I don't get lost in the shuffle of a jungle or something. So it's not too big of a deal, but I would like to eventually get that on here. Other than that, guys, this is pretty good sized bag. I hope you liked it. My original plan for this concept of this video was to actually bug out for 3 days somewhere. Unfortunately, this whole COVID thing set that behind, so that's gonna have to wait. But I do plan on making a video where I'm gonna actually bug out and film that stuff, and we'll come back and see how that worked. So as I said, every bag is going to be different depending on your health, your age, your skill level. I'm more comfortable not taking food because I know how to hunt and trap, and I know which foods are edible. If you've never camped in your life, don't bank on that, because that's an easy way to get sick. Eat something that's maybe poisonous. So then if you don't have that much experience, then you might want to take a little bit more food, stuff like that. So everybody's going to be different, but this works for me. So hopefully you liked it, guys. And yeah, let me know. Comment down below if you have any suggestions, any questions, anything like that. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. And we'll see you guys next week with another video. And go outside and get your boots dirty.